My personal anthem growing up is Runaway Train by Soul Asylum. The way life is going, I just want to run away. My mom meets BigWing when I'm 6 years old, and she's 5 months pregnant with my brother. And even though he's willing to take on a pre-made family and love is like his own, things aren't always good. When he drinks and falls asleep, we are afraid for him to wake up. When he wakes up, he's so mean to my mom. He picks a fight with her. I remember sitting in my room, hearing my mom being slapped around, hearing her things being smashed throughout the house. I sit in my room with my little brother, telling him everything will be okay. And as I tell him, I hear my mom begging BigWing to stop. The worst feeling in the world is hearing my mom being hit and begging to stop. And there's nothing I can do. Many nights she gives me her cell phone to go to bed with and tells me if I hear any screaming to call the cops right away. Then there are many nights my mom sleeps with me in my room so she won't be bothered or hurt. There are many times I want to stand up to BigWing and give him a taste of his own medicine. But since I'm so young and small, all I want to do is take my little brother and run away as far as I can. I almost run away when I'm 13. I just want to leave it all behind. But I can't bring myself to do it. One thing, I can't hurt my mom and family like that. And I couldn't devastate my mother. And two, I had only $57 from a fundraiser I'm doing, and that won't get me very far. So I stay, and the older I get, the more I stick up for my mom. One time, BigWing backhands my mom in front of me, and I stand up and tell him if he hits my mother again, I'll bash his skull in. He doesn't like that very much. The older I get, the less scared I am, but the more pissed off I feel. So instead of running away, I stand up to the one person who scares me the most in life. I do it for my mom and my brother. December 2nd, 2003, my mom, BigWing, and I are in the basement making wreaths and bows, listening to Christmas music. BigWing keeps playing the same song over and over again, 2,000 Miles by the Pretenders. We're having fun cutting branches and making bows, and BigWing is making fun of me for not cutting the branches right. We get quite a bit done, and I learn how to make bows and wreaths. That night, I go to bed with that Christmas song playing over and over in my head. The next morning, BigWing says, I'm tired, I don't feel like going to work. So stay home, my mom says. But Christmas is coming soon, he says, and then he goes to work. Later that day, my grandfather shows. There was an accident on the job. He says, BigWing is dead. We raced to the hospital to see him. When we get there, they say they're working on him. What they really meant was that they were stuffing his face so we could see him. It was the worst day ever. To go into a room and see my dad dead, and there was nothing I can do. Hearing the song 2,000 Miles, that gives me mixed emotions in a good way because it's BigWing's favorite Christmas song, and in a bad way because it's the last song we ever heard together. For years after BigWing has passed, my mom is pretty much to herself. Then she starts dating a man named Jimmy. I tell her I'm happy for her, but he better not put his hands on her because I'm old enough now to do something. The first time he does, I'm at home and she's at his house. She calls me crying at like 2 o'clock in the morning. I've had a few drinks with my cousin and we're just hanging out. I got upset for my cell phone call and I wanted to leave and go rip his head off. My aunt hid my keys. I ended up breaking my hand because I punched the house. The next day, I go down and I get in his face, and I tell him he's lucky I wasn't going to smash his skull in. The last time Jimmy put his hands on my mother, it's summer, and we're camping in Phoenicia. We're all having a great time, having a few drinks and laughing, and then suddenly, my mom and Jimmy started arguing. When I look over, I couldn't believe what I saw. Not once, but twice, he backhands her. I flew up out of my seat and grabbed the biggest log I could. My mom had to drag me out of the campground, and in the middle of the night, we have to call our neighbor who lives an hour away to come get us. After all that, they didn't stay together much longer. Jimmy is gone, but the violence stays with me. Violent behavior seems to be a constant in my life. First it's BigWing, then it's Jimmy, then it's my own brother coming after me with knives, screwdrivers, scissors, a large candy dish, and then finally it's me.
The first time I hit Toby, we were both drunk. He smacks me for taking the keys out of the ignition. So I pick up a 22-ounce beer I just opened and I smash Toby between the eyes. And that's just the beginning. The one day he calls me the C-word and I punched him in the face. Another time I came home drunk from the bar, we argued. I pushed him into a wall and punched him in the back of the head. His mother threw me out in the middle of the night in the rain. When I thought he was cheating, I broke his pinky and put 2 cans of soup in a shopping bag and swung it at his head just missing him. I can't remember what happened the day we went to the fair together, but we got drunk and I ended up in handcuffs for putting my hands on him. Eventually, Toby leaves me. It's November 2013 and I've had enough of my life. I am depressed and can't deal anymore. It's been 4 months since Toby has left and I can't take the heartache. I haven't had a proper night's sleep since the day he left. I'm taking a lot of over-the-counter sleep medicine to sleep at night, but it's not working. One night I took too much. I woke up the following morning and by 2 p.m. all I wanted to do was sleep. So I got my 2-year-old son to lie down for a nap, and I think I've locked the top lock on my door. He wakes up before me and gets out of the apartment. He is found out by the road. I live on 32 between Kingston and New Paltz. My neighbor brings him up to me and then tries waking me up. I don't wake up. A little while later, Toby comes and picks up our munchkin for the night. When I find out what happened, I can't handle it. When they leave, I sit on the kitchen floor and cut my wrist. I don't do it to kill myself. As sick as it may sound, I did it for the pain. I ended up calling one of my friends and spending the night with them. The following day, I realized I need help with my depression and whatever other issues I have going on. My son needs a mom, not someone who has anger and violent issues, a drunk, or someone who fools around a little too much. To top it off, CPS got involved since the cops showed up. So I volunteered to go through an intensive therapy program called Benedictine Partial Adult Program. This is the best move I've ever made. One main important thing I learned is called radical acceptance, which means you can only change things about yourself, you can't change others. When I am there, I learned I am bipolar, I have a depression disorder, and I have PTSD. Things haven't been easy, but I'm better than I was. The most important thing is I'm there for my son, who I love more than life itself.